mistakes when you're on a golf course. Getting a second chance is known as a mulligan.
And while a second chance on a golf course is one thing, we're wanting to talk about, should you get a second chance at things you've done in life? Like if you made a mistake.
Or a relationship or whatnot. So let's talk to our UAB psychologist, Dr. Josh Klapow, and Tony Kurre, a longtime radio host. Good to have you with us this morning.
Great to be here.
There are a couple of dates I wish I could do over, but that's beside the story. Let's talk about now, though. Is it bad? Like there are some like I can remember games from like Pee Wee football.
Yep.
Where I just, man, I wish I'd have done this. I wish I could have got a do-over on that. Is it bad? Is psychologically, mentally, emotionally to linger on something that you wish you could do over?
It can be, particularly if it consumes you. Well, actually, there's two. If it consumes you, or, and I see this a lot, if it starts driving the direction that you're interacting in life because of that. Like, so you become a perfectionist because you made that mistake, or you avoid these kinds of relationships because you regret this other thing so much. I think that's what happens more than anything else. It's not so much people obsess about it, but it really changes the trajectory of their life, which can be positive, but it also can take them down a path of just not, trying to do everything they can to make up for that mistake that they made that they're never going to be able to.
Though a righteous man may fall 7 times, he will rise again. Proverbs, I always think to myself, okay, this is the life we have, and there's a reason why we have the life we have, and that's what, but I always think it's interesting whenever a man says, I have no regrets in life. I'm like, really?
I just feel like
it's a question where you're kind of like, are you sure? And because I think you do live the life, and there's a reason why we're in the position we're in. And like you said, there's only one man who knows how that works, and he's upstairs.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you make a mistake, you get to learn from it.
Yeah.
So that's why we live the life we live. We have one life. I mean,
sometimes though, when you get a second chance, the second chance ain't as good as the first.
Yeah.
You get that second chance,
That's
you finally
true.
get it, and we know the grass ain't always greener. I mean, you get there and you're like, okay, this isn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
I think a lot of times too, we make an assumption we're going to get a second chance, and I see that a lot. This idea, you see it in relationships, you see it, kids do it all the time. Oh, please, please, please give me a second chance. And I think one of the problems is we make the assumption we're going to get that second chance, and then we don't carry the weight of that second chance as heavy as it needs to be. So in relationships, you see, I'll never do it again. I don't know that until you actually don't do it again. And I think that's the thing that is really important, is those second chances are a way for you to actually change the trajectory of the way you're going to live.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it, and particularly if you're getting the third and the fourth and the fifth chance, then it just becomes, it's a moot point.
What do you think, Mike?
Well, I relate that to what you said. You heard Coach Saban say this and other coaches, where a player does something wrong, they could kick him off the team, but they decide to keep them on because they feel like that's an opportunity for them to learn from that. And a lot of guys who've gone through that have actually changed the trajectory of their lives.
Most men do.
Yeah.
And what am I going to do? Just going to kick a guy off and put him on the street? I mean, that's maybe a call for help. Obviously, he's got some issues. We're going to be here to help that, and he wants to make better men out of men, not just a football player.
Most men who get that second chance, or people who get that second chance, need to take advantage of that. I mean, that's the difference. Yeah. I mean, just because you're getting the second chance, it is now the pressure is on you to actually turn it around. And I think that defines the character of a person. Are you going to take it?
Well, I will say, as Shalimar once sang, the second time around, it's always better than the first time.
How do you do that?